Hello everyone. Today I, Punarjit, Nikhil and Pushpendra are going to present a dynamic Bayesian network based approach for gesture recognition. So before getting into the details about how we can use the dynamic Bayesian network for gesture recognition, let us see the basics of what gesture is, what gesture recognition is. So moving on, let's see what gesture is. So gesture is a symbol of physical behavior or emotional expression. It includes body gesture and hand gesture. And gesture can be used as a tool of communication between computer and human. So what we can see here, this is basically that gesture is anything we do using body movements, or it is non-verbal communication. We are communicating but without the words. Now getting the detail of what gesture is, let's see what gesture recognition means. So gesture recognition determines the user intent through the recognition of gesture or movement of the body or body parts. So it is basically getting something logical. What we are doing, the gesture, we need to extract some logical inference that what the person is trying to communicate to a computer or to a human. Now, as we have seen what gesture recognition is, now our project is basically based on hand gesture recognition. So hand gesture recognition is basically a small part of gesture recognition where we see the movement of hand. It can be anything like just waving of a hand, pointing it, or using some stop sign using hand. Just movement of hand in the space is what we need to determine, as it has many applications such as augmented reality, which is virtual reality, sign language interpreter for the handicapped, which is also very important, robot control, and nowadays people are also playing games using hand gestures. So these are some applications of hand gesture recognition. Now let us see how we can use dynamic Bayesian networks for gesture recognition. Now, dynamic Bayesian network provide an alternative to HMM's hidden Markov model for the dynamic gesture recognitions. How is so? Dynamic Bayesian network can be considered as an extension of hidden Markov model. It is like HMM in which observation node is decomposed in the number of attributes that are considered independent given the states. So we have a state, and in HMMs we only have a single observable, but in dynamic Bayesian network we divide the single observable into n attributes, and the one condition we make is the all the hidden variables are independent if the state is given. This is the basic assumption of dynamic Bayesian network. Now, from a Debian standpoint, each time when we look at the structure, it is basically a naive-Bayes classifier, or the base structure is Bayesian classifier, and the state variables are connected from one time to the next using the transition structure, which is hidden Markov model. We will be going from timestamp t to timestamp t plus 1. We will look in greater depth in the next slide. Now, why are we using dynamic Bayesian networks? Now, why are we even using dynamic Bayesian networks? There are actually two major importance of dynamic Bayesian networks. First being, when there is a large number of observation symbol, it allows for considerable reduction in the number of parameters and consequently a reduction in the number of examples required to train the model. And the second advantage is it opens the door for selecting the relevant attributes. As in hidden Markov model, we only have a single attribute, so we need to consider it. But here we have divided it into many parts, so we can consider them also. Now the second point, which is better in Debian, is that it gives greater flexibility than HMMs, as we only have a single attribute in HMM and we have many attributes here. So the structure can be more flexible in the DBN case. And in this particular case, we will be using the dynamic Bayesian network classifier for our given problem. Now, let's see how dynamic Bayesian network classifier works. As we see in this adjoining figure, we have a state S and three very observables attached to it, which is A11, A12, and A13. And similarly, it will repeat for the next timestamped states. Actually, these are timestamps, timestamp at t and timestamp at t+1. Now, what is happening is we have a single state and these variables. And the assumption that we have is all these variables are independent given the state S. Now let me just read out for you guys what is the definition of DBNC. A DBNC has a hidden state variable for each time instant ST. So this first block of code, block of representation is a timestamp T. However, the observation variable is decomposed into M attributes. As we can see, in our case, we have taken 3 attributes, which is assumed to be conditionally independent given the state C, the basic assumption of it, which can cause error. But in our experiments, we found out that this is not much. This can be negligible. Now coming on to the representation, how we can represent dynamic Bayesian networks. So in the left hand side, as we can see the formula, the probability of the state from 1 to t, where capital T is the window size, the window we are taking, comma, the observables from timestamp 1 to t. How we can represent this joint probability? So let's see on the right hand side. As we can see, there are two terms comprising. One is on the left of the multiply and one is on the right of the multiply. So let's analyze the left part. We have probability of S1, probability of the first state, multiplied by probability of A1 given S1, then A2 given S2, the multiplication of it. Why are we able to represent it that way? Because of the conditional independent thing we are using, which is given to us, which are assuming in DBN. So we can write it as a multiplication. In spite of a joint, we can write it as probability of A1 given S1. So this is the left hand thing. And we have studied this in Bayesian networks. So left part is the base structure Bayesian network. Now, what is the right part? This is the transition network. How? So let's see. The probability ST given ST minus 1. Given this state, given the previous state, probability of this state multiplied by probability of this state's variable given the state. Now, as the other variables are independent given the state, those will not come into the picture. And this probability ST given ST minus 1 is basically hidden Markov model that given the previous state, we need not to consider from the values S of 1 to S of T minus 2. So in this formula, what we came up with, that it basically comprises of a base structure and a transition structure. And this mathematically, this is how we represent a dynamic Bayesian network. Now, I think you have much of the theory in hand. Now let's move on to the application of it. Now for this, Pushpendra will explain the use case, what we are trying to do here in this presentation. Over to you, Pushpendra.
Thanks for the start, Punarjit. So as we all have might known what derivation networks are and how we are going to use the classifier in our case. So let's move on to our problem statement. Our problem is we have to perform a hand gesture recognition which involves a sequence of hand postures in a very short time span, the classification of this sequence. Basically, a hand posture is a static configuration of the hand. There are many works focused on the detection of hand postures because this is a basic step to recognize gestures. The hand detection is the task of obtaining a bounding box where the hand is located in the image plane. To perform hand detection, the methods need to deal with several challenging scenarios, which are the lighting variations, the dim or dull, the hand segmentation, different hand morphologies, and the signal noise. If we see with our problem and the dataset we are using, we're going to have 9 hand gestures and a 10th one, which is a base state of the object. If we go on from A to the example J, and the first one, the one is just hand is static and is just rotating left to right. The second case, we're taking from hand from top to bottom. With third case, it looks like a stop sign, but it also changes the way of hand is rotating with static. Whereas in the D and E cases, we're taking a hand to the left side and taking it back, and similarly to the right side. However, the F and G cases gives us a very important scenario where we're turning our hand clockwise and anti-clockwise directions. Similarly, in H and J cases, we see different representation of our hand with corresponding to the body. If we go further and detail what are the features we might get this through, let's talk about it. Now here comes the role of features, which are most important to any ML or AI problem. In our problem, we're going to deal with a total of 7 attributes, which includes motion, the posture information, and many more. However, we, among a variety of possible features, the most important about a gesture will be the motion of the hand. The motion can be described as the trajectory of the hand in space over time, which in turn is represented by a sequence of positions or equivalently motion vectors. The images were shot under different lighting conditions. The backgrounds should be simple in most of the cases. The class number of classes presented in the dataset is 10, the 9 with motion involved in the one sample case where there is no motion involved. However, the motion postures are area or changes in the hand area, delta x and delta y. The changes in hand position on the xy plane of the image. If we consider our images as an xy coordinates from basic from in the initial position where hands are in the 0 comma 0, and however we move along the plane, it may be changed delta x or delta y. Similarly, as we are saying, we're talking to a robot and we ask him to come to us, which means from the normal state, a hand is risen and our hand is doing some motion. To complete that, the, the robot will take the image and sense it and come towards the user. Also, the posture features named form, right above, and torso are the ones which were described, and orientation and spatial relations between the hand and other body parts, such as face and torso. We also have to propose a new hand gesture model having 3 hidden variables. We take together total of 5 observations. So let's come to the posture feature. So let's take this a sample image. In this image, we are having above face, a hand, and a torso. So our model can detect all these things simultaneously. However, the main focus of here will be the spatial differences between all the 3 objects. Like how far is hand going from the torso, or our hand and face, the distance between them is always same or different, or both of them are having the same y coordinate or different y coordinate. For successful hand gesture recognition, the accurate location of hands in the space and to track them in space time, which will influence greatly on performance of the target system. The 5 observations which we were earlier talking about should be chain codes of hand motion, the relative position between the face and hands, and the relative position of hand and torso. However, one more thing which generally people neglect in such data sets is that the variety of backgrounds is a very important thing to be considered. The background should go from simple to complex. The background complexity may have a big impact on detection methods according to technique used. A challenging scenario for detection methods that are based on color segmentation is when the background is similar to the skin tone. However, the outdoor and indoor scenarios provide different backgrounds and challenges in the illumination. The lighting variations which is a problem faced in the initial part of the slides. However, this type of scenarios are a good addition to the dataset. If we move further and to talk about In detail about more about our experiment, we did 3 experiments to compare classification and learning performances of the dynamic Bayesian network classifiers and hidden Markov models. We propose a new gesture model after doing this so that our dataset is more focused on motion information using 3 canonical hands in the dataset. The postures were taken from different individuals, from different ethnicities. They were different shapes, sizes, and skin color in the hand postures. With a small number of hands, it's not possible to cover a several more number of hand morphologies. However, in the second part, we observe an important difference between the DBNCs and the HMMs is the number of parameters that are required for each model. Let's discuss in detail what makes DBNCs such special as compared to HMMs. However, in the general trend, HMMs are a very useful tool for modeling variabilities. Its power is limited to a very simple state space with single discrete hidden variable. However, the coupled HMM is a HMM variant tailored to represent the interaction of two independent processes. It is essentially two HMMs coupled between the state variable across the HMMs. However, it also becomes hard to add new information between these models because of the rigid structure. There comes into play our very own dynamic Bayesian network classifier. It is a generalized framework of HMM and the Bayesian networks. With an appropriate design, it can make up for the weaknesses of the HMM by factorizing the hidden variables into a set of random subvariables. To deep dive more into our experiment, I like to call my friend Nikhil to have a keen edge on how experiment took place and what were the results obtained in the due process. Over to you, Nikhil.
Thanks, Pushpendra. Now, experiment we did to analyze the efficiency of these models in daily life and how does they behave in different situations. We performed an experiment. We performed first with hidden Markov model and other with dynamic Bayesian network classifier. The first experiment was with a posture and motion features, which was 648 in numbers. We have considered the position of in these features. We considered the position of the body parts in the video along with their motion, just like the position of the hand, face, torso, etc. along with their movement. In second experiment with hidden Markov model, where we consider motion of the body parts as the features of the model, which counted as 27 features. In another experiment, we used dynamic Bayesian network classifier where we considered a total of 21 parameters, including the position of the body parts and their motion. In second experiment with dynamic Bayesian network classifier, we took only 12 features, which include the motion of the body parts. This significant decrease in the number of features in the case of dynamic Bayesian network classifier had a major impact on the training of the model. Now, coming to the next slide, when we performed the experiment with same person where we use postures and motion of the body and as features, then we get a good performance where we got an accuracy rate of around 96% to 99%. But when we use dynamic Bayesian network classifier, then we got slightly better results as compared to hidden Markov model. And also, use of dynamic Bayesian network classifier reduced a significant time in the training of the model. Training time of dynamic Bayesian network classifier was about 10 times faster than the hidden Markov model. Now coming to the next slide. Now, when we performed our experiment with multiple people, then accuracy of both hidden Markov model and dynamic Bayesian network classifier decreased. Initially, we did the experiment with the same person and analyzed the results. But here we used different persons for this to measure the accuracy of our model. Uh, the use of different multiple peoples decreased the accuracy. The decrease in the accuracy was about 86%. First, earlier it was from 96% to 99%, but after we used multiple peoples, then our accuracy decreased to 86%, where we considered the motion and posture attributes. If we considered only the motion attributes with different people, then the accuracy further decreased to the order of 65%. In the case of third experiment, the variation of person's distance and orientation from the camera also has an impact on the recognition rate, where the orientation feature of the person uh, uh, towards the camera has a greater effect on the accuracy of our result. Now, concluding our slide, in these slides of our presentation, we have learned about what is the gesture recognition, how can we use dynamic Bayesian network for the gesture recognition. Then we learned about what is dynamic Bayesian network classifier, and we also learned about gesture recognition with dynamic Bayesian network classifier. What are their features, and what are the posture features we uses in dynamic Bayesian network classifier for predicting for identifying the gestures of a person. In this presentation, we also discussed about an experiment we did on different peoples and what were their results and what were their accuracy. Thank you.